Okay, how's that?
Perfect.
Okay, so here's an example of one of our projects I talked about before. Having the team list is definitely very helpful. One thing that I really like, which is it's kind of a simple thing, but I think goes a long way, is having the logos of the companies next to it. Branding is everything, and that's something that when somebody sees, they know that represents the team that they're working for. Having their own brand there is, I think, adds another element of ownership to the whole thing. So really like this team list option.
Do you often print out the execution plan as well with the contact details, or do you always invite people to the live online version?
Yeah, we have printed it just because we thought that that's what people are used to and that's what they're going to want. But we found that once people understand what this is, they don't really look at the printed one. So we print it to put it in the archive just as kind of a historical thing. I don't think people are using the printed versions. It's been pretty well accepted just to go right to the online one. On this project, we had a little bit of confusion on how we're tracking our issues. This is something that was further down in the BIM execution plan because it was something during the project that we found people were kind of forgetting those steps. It was a click away to be able to move it right to the top.
Right.
So when they open this up, it's easy for them to see, okay, yeah, this is the steps that I'm supposed to follow when it comes to issue tracking. On this one, our meeting history, we had a request, can we record the meeting and then have the meeting accessible? So if somebody in our team isn't there, they can go back and watch the GoToMeeting video. So we record the GoToMeeting, we save it to our YouTube channel, and then there's hyperlinks here that they can click on to go to those coordination meetings. Or if they want a copy of the coordination report from that day, they can click on those links as well. This is the one that I talked about, their frequently accessed links. They can click on these links to go to some of the most popular things that they need to access on the project, rather than saving a shortcut of every one of these on their desktop and cluttering up their desktop.
Right.
The only link they need to have on their desktop is LOD Planner. And once they get into that, they can get into everything else through LOD Planner.
So this is a great one. This is something that I really think should be best practice across the LOD Planner community, to be able to keep those links consolidated in one place. That's really magic. It's such a simple thing, but I can see the benefit.
And we know that everyone values this for the information that it has, because whenever a new team member is added to one of our subcontractor teams, the first thing they do is send us an email asking to put this person on LOD Planner. You know, their second request may be give them access to the SharePoint site or whatever, but the first email they always send out is, can you get this person on LOD Planner?
Nice.
We have our key milestones. As you can see, those dates changed. And so with a PDF version, it becomes a lot more difficult to revise those dates and then redistribute. Mm-hmm. All of them do have the rights to this comment bubble. If they have a piece of equipment with a long lead time that's going to prevent that date, they can click on that comment bubble and write their comment and add it, and then we have it for us to reference. It right. Pulls it out of the email. It puts somewhere where now everyone can see it. Pulling it out of the email and putting it in here makes it that transparent communication, so that the whole team can be aware of what's going on. Everything that's colored kind of red is a hyperlink listing all of that specification right there in the BIM execution plan. We can just say these are the specs and here's the link to them. Mm-hmm. We have our project goals, our hardware, software. One of the first things we have is Introduction to LOD Planner. This is a video that we took from you guys. It explains some of the basics of LOD Planner. So we don't have to create all the videos ourselves. If we find a video from one of the companies that we're working with, we can put that in here. If there's something else on YouTube, it makes it really easy to share those videos as well. So nice. We have that one for LOD Planner. The workspace site is our SharePoint site that we use. And then for those people that aren't that type of learner to watch a video, they'd like to read it, we have below the same information but now written out.
Were these in some kind of learning management system or something else before?
So before we would do a live demo during the kickoff meeting and just hope they could retain by memory what they learned. the paths of where everything was at, we would type it out and say, go to this folder, then go to this folder, then go to this folder. But it became difficult for them. The next week, when someone would have to access a CAD file from the architect, we would get an email that says, where do I find the CAD files? We'd say, oh, this is where they're at. We wouldn't go back and say, per the BIM execution plan that you should have remembered, this is where they're at. Ever since we've been doing this, we don't get those emails anymore. People know where to find things. And if I do, it's very rare, but every once in a while I will get an email that says, what's your naming convention for this project? How am I supposed to name my file? Instead of just giving them that answer, I can give them the link to that part of LOD Planner and just say, it's on LOD Planner, check this link here. And it brings them to that section. And then while they're in LOD Planner, they're like, oh yeah, it has this in here and this too. Because more than likely the person that's asking the question is someone that wasn't part of that original kickoff meeting, and they don't know that all of this information is there for them. Right. So it makes it really easy to get new people up to speed. Like I said, we use BIM track for the project. Then there's a typical model origin, file naming structure. These are instructions on how to upload a model, how to download a model. Then this gets into our meeting specific information and how to use Navisworks. And so this is where we use the videos that we've created. How you can open the model. This is how we've colored the model to identify clashes. This is how you can use BIM track within the model. And so these different training videos have become really powerful in helping people understand what our specific process is for some of the things that we do during the meeting and the things that we hope people are doing in between meetings.
Once you've collected comments and including comments, are you approving sections to show things that have been proposed or approved, or is that not part of the workflow?
For the comment section here?
So once you've collected comments and included those comments, on the right-hand side, the shield below the pencil, to be able to approve and freeze that. Is that something you've used yet?
No, but I'm glad you brought it up because now I will. I learned something every time I talk with you. So that's great. Then the next part is just the scope. Again, like I said, that on this project, there are some things that the architect started with. General contractor was going to do the construction phase part of it, but then the architect would do the final one. We would hand it back to them. We've used the scope section on this project to identify the scope for the design team, for us, and for our subcontractors.
With the BIM execution plans you've done historically, have they always included the scope? You mentioned before that it was part of the Word document, potentially.
It was just written paragraphs saying, this is for plumbing, we expect this. For HVAC, we expect this. It's hard to fit everything in there. It becomes a little bit vague and open to interpretation. That's why we love the graphical view of this also, to be able to see the picture and add the notes, add that level of development, add who it's assigned to. It makes it really clear.
Have you had any situations where that has caused some challenges? Any kind of stories behind that?
Oh, absolutely, because there's always, like I said, it's always the end of the project when we're trying to button it up and turn it back over to the owner, and we're trying to get the as-built models if they require that. That's always the worst time in the project to try to decide what everybody owes at the end of the job.
Right.
Everyone has they've gone through their budget. They're already working on their next project. Their resources are already allocated to other jobs. And the last thing people remember about working with you is that closeout period. And so that's the last thing you want to do is burn your bridge with somebody during that phase. You work hard to have a 2-year good experience, successful project, only to get them upset at the end because of a BIM requirement. It's just, you just wasted that 2-year relationship. And so by having those expectations clear from the beginning, getting this stuff done early and out of the way, it creates that good experience, that happy relationship at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a really important point you mentioned as well. At the end of the project, as you said, that's what everyone remembers, and that's what will get priced into the next project, I'm sure, if
Exactly.
didn't expect it. Just to close out, what would be your advice for companies around the world that are maybe just getting started with BIM, and as they start trying to create these plans, what would be that advice that you could share with them?
Yeah, I think the best advice I could share is to not feel like you have to do everything. The thing that I love about LOD Planner is that you don't have to use every part of it to have a successful project. You can start small with LOD Planner. We started just using it for the plan function, and then we just started growing from there. It's not intimidating. It's very easy to use. It's very easy to understand. And you can start small and then just keep growing, keep learning. Like I learned new things today, it's continuous improvement.
Cool. Thank you, Darren, so much for sharing everything today. I've learned some things as well. It's been great to see some of the really detailed areas that you've used the product for. And every time we speak with users, it is so rewarding. So many people are starting to have better, clearer communication. That's what we're trying to do. As a team, we're building a framework to help teams communicate early on and to reduce the risk in the projects that you're working on. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you do as well for feedback for us and sharing in the BIM space. It's really appreciated by us and everyone else, I'm sure.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and thank you so much for this tool that really has made life easier. I wish if I would have had it earlier, I wouldn't have so much gray and missing hair. But hopefully the next generation, can avoid the challenges that I did. So thank you for all the work that you guys have put into this and continue to put into it.
Thanks, Darren.
All right. Thank you.